Good evening. Let me thank the organisers for inviting me. I was very happy at the end of last year to receive the invitation to come to Sofia so early in Bulgaria's membership of the Euro area. As others have already said, I think it's an exciting time. You've already heard from Governor Radev and Governor Stornaris. So I'm not going to repeat some of the basic messages, but let me agree with how Governor Radev described the changeover process. One point that Governor Radev made, which I think is important, and when I was at the Bulgarian National Bank this afternoon, I reiterated the point, is that now people in Bulgaria, for sure at the National Central Bank, but more generally, essentially need to think about how can Bulgaria contribute to the European policy discussion. So for central banking, for monetary policy, this is automatic. 27 people sit around the room to make monetary policy, and Governor Radev is there now. And last week he played an equal role with everyone else in the discussion of the European economy and interest rate policy. So as the Governor said earlier on, this is essentially a much more powerful role for Bulgaria, being one of the decision makers about European monetary policy than the previous regime of having a currency board with the euro. And maybe also let me mention, in addition to the Governing Council, the committees of the euro system have a big role for the national central banks. So the staff members at the Bulgarian National Bank are now making a contribution on everything, on monetary policy, on the payment system, on financial stability, and so on. So Bulgaria now is highly visible in Frankfurt, and I welcome that. That is one reason why I'm here. So maybe in the context of this closing speech, maybe I will make 2 points. One point is, in the world we live in, which came up, I think, in the different panels so far, is we now have a new global geopolitics. And in the nature of that global geopolitics, essentially the answer is scale matters. It's very important to be part of a large bloc. So it's very difficult for small currencies to operate in a world which has this dominant role for the large currencies. So it is important at this time to recognize that being outside the euro is increasingly costly, and being inside the euro is increasingly beneficial. So let me give the example of what we are doing in terms of investment in digital infrastructure. We have a plan for the digital euro, and at the wholesale level, we have a plan for essentially making sure that central bank money will be the settlement asset for the new wave of digital finance. These are large projects. There's a lot of activity in the ECB to move this forward, but the answer is this is not feasible for small currencies. It's only feasible for large currencies such as the euro in particular. So I think it's important to recognize that point. And as indicated by President Lagarde last week, it's also the case that this has spillover benefits for global investors. The larger is the euro area, the more effective is the euro as a global currency. And we've indicated fairly soon we'll explain more about an expanded policy on that front. So let me make my second point, which is I've said that now Bulgaria needs to spend part of its time debating European issues, making a contribution to how policy is made at the European level. But there's also a second role for Bulgaria inside a monetary union, which is to make sure that it maintains and develops a very stable domestic policy-making culture. So even though monetary policy is in Frankfurt, it's very much the case that national fiscal policy, national financial stability policy is more important than ever. And this is where last year, when the ECB looked at the convergence criteria, it was my area at the ECB wrote the report endorsing Bulgaria to join the euro, but we did have a number of messages for Bulgaria that remain on the, if you like, the to-do list for Bulgaria. And let me say that we think it remains the case that we need to see an improvement in institutional quality and governance, which others have also repeated this evening. And let me just repeat the list that we have. We think this would help to improve the business environment. It would improve the efficiency of public administration. It will improve tax compliance. It will improve transparency. It will improve judicial independence. It will improve social inclusion and also improve access to online services while also reducing corruption. Let me endorse the point that someone made on the business panel earlier on. High quality institutions does not mean 2,000 pages of regulation. This is possible. You asked the question of Governor Sternaris already. It is not the case you measure institutional quality by the number of regulations. You still want a smart regulation behind that. So let me conclude by basically saying this year, I think, is an important milestone year for Bulgaria and for the euro area. But the milestone is just a stopping point. It's not the destination. And this is, I think, already has been mentioned. And with this, I would say that congratulations to Bulgaria on joining the euro. But let me encourage, as many others have said this evening, to continue making progress in terms of developing institutional quality and avoiding the mistakes some people have made or some countries have made over the years. So with that, again, let me thank the organisers for including me. Thank you.